Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Working on, this is a guitar building video. Working on guitar number 6, and the body and the neck are both out of the paint shop. And next thing to be done is clean up the fingerboard. Okay, I'm going to be using this stuff. And I found that for lacquer and shellac, that stuff and a little bit of elbow grease will this stuff slowly dissolves it, and with a little elbow grease the stuff does come off, and you don't have to like sand the whole fretboard and stuff like that. So see how this goes. Okay, let's see what happens here. I'll just do the first one to demonstrate. And with any luck, that should clean things up. And then what this doesn't get, yeah, see, it does look a whole lot cleaner. So yeah, like this little bit on the edge, that'll clean up when I sand the edge carefully. Block sand most likely. But yeah, as you see, I'll do another one here. Okay, see, this is the clean one, and that's still like dirty. Get a clean part of the rag. And just hit it like that. Same idea as naphtha, it's just stronger. This is also might be, well, it's a combination of a number of things. It's this was an oil fretboard, so we're pulling out all the old oils and stuff, and a lot of the whatever with it. This might have been stained at some point in the past. Yeah, actually, that looks like it might be a burgundy stain. And this might have been stained at one point in the past, because it used to be the Steinberger Spirit kit was originally, I did it in all white and it just didn't do anything for me. And then I redid it in a burgundy, and it's quite possible that I threw a little burgundy dye on the fingerboard at that time. But anyway, yeah, this is the basic idea. You just kind of go along here, and I'm going to have to get another tissue. This one's getting awfully dirty awfully quick. But yeah, this is going to take up all the shellac. Any spillover. Let me find it here. You see, like, there's some shellac. And yeah, see, it goes away. So yeah, so that's the basic idea. I'm going to go ahead and hit the entire fingerboard, get it cleaned up with this stuff, and then I need to sand the edges. Okay, it's all cleaned up. A little smelly in here now. Yeah, it's all cleaned up, and it looks like this thing was, this fretboard's been through so much. This thing used to be white lacquer with white lacquer frets, and then it looks also like it might have been clear coated at one point after that, and then converted back to a not clear coat. But yeah, I got it all cleaned up, all the shellac at least from where I just put this stuff on now. So yeah, the next step is to sand this edge, or these edges, both sides. Okay, going with a bit of 400 grit on a little sanding block here, give me a flat face. And I'm just going to very carefully come in, kind of like this kind of a thing, and just get it right down to that line, and just enough in order to take off the shellac and get it back down to bare wood. So I'll keep going until this starts coming up with some rosewood dust, basically. So this calls for attention to detail. I'm going to do it off camera and be careful. I'll be back. Well, messed up and cut through ever so slightly there. Going to hit it with a bit of stain and then a bit of shellac. So, a bit of stain. Looks good in real life. Looks okay through the camera, I guess. Yeah, it looks okay. Alright, there's shellac. Where are we at here? This little corner. And not the fingerboard, I just sanded that. Alright, that'll seal it. It'll be dry in 5 minutes. Yeah, the shellac will keep the dye where it's supposed to be. And the sheen level is not bad. It'll do. Cool. Alright, that's fixed. And just ever so slight amount of stuff right there. I actually had to set all the way down to like 80 grit or something to keep this from being too much of a project. Yeah, that's the little bit I was trying to get out when I accidentally cut through. That's what's going on. That little bit right in front of the double dots. I think I'll just leave that. Don't want to get totally obsessive compulsive about things. Still got to do the end. It hasn't been done yet. Or the underside. I don't think I'm going to worry about the underside. It can stay lacquered or shellacked. I'll just do the ends so they get oiled so it matches the top. Yeah, I was looking at this and there's actually spots where you can still see just like the smallest little bit of white lacquer on these frets, or like right up against the edges. So, but anyway, yeah, let's see, that's good. So, and this is more or less sanded. Let me go ahead and I'll finish up this end here, and then I think it's ready for oil. Okay, all sanded right to the line as best I could. And I got the end. Can't really see if I can get some light on it here. You can't really tell, but yeah, it's sanded too. And that's the other side. So yeah, not bad. There's a couple spots where ever so slight amount of rosewood still has shellac on it, but this whole neck, you got to realize that this flat curve actually gets into the rosewood some, and the whole thing's been curved around. So yeah, the roll on the top edge of the fretboard blends right around all the way, all the way to the spine, really. So yeah, it's should be good to go now. It's ready for oil. Okay, time for one of the most visually satisfying parts of guitar building, and that is putting oil on wood. A little bit of mineral oil. Not much dirt since it was clean with the lacquer thinner. And sides that I just sanded. And the end. And the other side. And I think that'll do it. Just let that soak in. It's not a whole lot on there. Probably no need to wipe it off. See how it looks in an hour or two. Probably all be gone. Alright. Neck's all cleaned up. Fingerboard's all cleaned up. Or fretboard. Yeah, you can actually... If you look close, you can... If I can get the light on it right. Yeah. White lacquer at the edge right there. If it'll even focus, but yeah, there's slight traces of white lacquer there still. Maybe some quality detail time with the razor blade might take care of that, but I'm not going to sweat it. You got to be like almost right on it to see it. Okay, yeah, I think the next thing to do is to begin assembly. Well, I was going to try to use machine screws that were Allen head drive, flat with machine screw wood inserts for the neck and the swing bar, and then the thumb screw, matching machine screw thumb screw for the swing bar. But it looks like the screws are just a little bit too long for this neck and body combination. So yeah, I think these are, I don't know, these might be 25 mil. It looks like I'm going to need 20 mil or something like that kind of idea. So it looks like I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with wood screws. So for hardware on this thing, the bridge is black. I got a black matching nut for it. Everything else, if need be, can be squirted. So I think I'm going to go with like all black for the hardware on this. And this, they call it flat black, but it's really more of a satin. It's going to be a good friend of mine during this build for finishing up the little bits and pieces. Yeah, I'm going to start by getting some screws going here. I can cut them to length later on. Okay, these should be ready to go within, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. Okay, taking a look at the nut here. This is the R-type nut, R-trim type nut that came off of the neck. And this is the trans trim nut that's going to be going on it. And yeah, there you can see there's a difference in the angle here. This one is tilted slightly that way, and this one is tilted significantly in that direction. And but otherwise they're similar enough that this is going to fit. More or less like that. Yeah, I know, that's a hell of a gap, but it'll work. It'll work. And the screws are the same size in the end. This one apparently, I don't know if it originally was designed to go in either from the top or from the back. They only give you one set of screws to use in either set. So, or else it's missing a pair of screws or something, but I kind of doubt that they'd stick them through both the top and the back. That's an awful lot of screw and not a whole lot of meat to go into. So yeah, so the basic plan is just going to slap this puppy on and put these screws in. And I do need to get this bracket squirted black so that I can slip it in there for that kind of an idea. And that should take care of things. So yeah, I'm going to have to squirt this, and then it's got to dry, and the neck can't go on until those other screws dry. So this always happens. It gets out of the paint shop, and then you got to paint all the hardware. This thing might be hard to string up, or I might have to look up how to do it. It looks like the ball end goes in here, and then, will the camera even pick it up? Yeah. See the little holes? Little holes is where the end of the string would go, I'm assuming. And then it's got a little extension thing to make it easy to crank them. Then you go like that so that it winds this way and comes over the top of the wheel because of the height of the saddle. And you've only got so much clearance for your brake angle behind it. So you want your string to come across the top of the wheel, not go down under the bottom. And then it's got a set of grub screws down here, which I assume is your lock mechanism, or maybe that releases this thing and you put the string through and then you bolt it back in or something. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it's a Steinberger, so it can't be that hard. Obviously they went to the R trim later, so they consider it an improvement over this thing. But it does have, like, this is the trans part, is you need the whammy in order to actually get the thing to move. It's kind of stiff. But yeah, this comes up. Right now it's in bridge lock mode. But you can lock it up here, here, and I think there's like 4 places you can lock it. That it does it like half step lower and half step and whole step higher in tune, I think is the way it works. So yeah, so it transforms the entire tuning of the whole guitar. That's why it's called a trans trem. But anyway, I think I'm going to have to dig up shorter screws for the bridge. These sure look like they're going to be too long. Oh yeah, that's way thicker than the body, way longer than the body is thick, so. Yeah, that's going to be a little too long. I'm going to need something shorter. I'll have to go fish. And other than that, let's see. I can use the neck screws match the old ones pretty much. They're actually slightly shorter, but they're the same size. And yeah, this is going to need shorter bridge screws. And other than that, I think everything else gets glued on, so it should be good. Just a little go fish for something around about a 1" or so in a wood screw, whatever size that is, 3/16 or something. So I'll be back. Well, the fretboard soaked up all that oil, so I'm going to hit it again. You get the idea. And there it is, all oiled up for the second time. And I'm pretty sure it'll absorb all that as well. Okay, fished up some shorter screws for the bridge. Now I got to squirt them. And that takes care of that. Okay, measured the body and the neck. And it looks like the maximum length for these screws is going to be 32 mil. So maybe we'll go for like 30 mil or something. Okay, there we go. Pair of 30 millimeter long neck screws. Okay, got the nut and the nut screws. Got a set of neck screws. bridge screws and screws for the swing bar and thumb screw. And I think that's everything. Time to put it together.